get underway here. We're going to watch with Zach for now as he heads through the last few turns here in Spain. We're going to ride on board with him for the lap as he opens up through turn 16. Got to maximise your exit through there and out onto the straight. He'll be going off on his bank lap in the mediums. See where he can get set from there, and from then he can move on and set different lap times. He's got DRS in mode 5, braking about 75 metres from turn 1 through turn 2 then. In it towards turn 3, the long right hander. Hopefully no one does a Roman Grosjean during the race. Then heavy braking into turn 4, maximising the width of his entry there, you can see, before opening it up again into the downhill braking zone of turn 5. It's very easy to overestimate when you can get off of the throttle. It's a blind corner. Then turn 6 takes us up the towards turn 7, which takes us up the hill. Turns 8 continue that, and then a bit of a lift, potentially even brake. No, just a lift, I think, into turn 9. Wholly on the throttle. This is for the second DRS zone. Then a heavy braking again into turn 10, which is followed by turn 11, which can just nearly be taken flat. You can see him lifting off there. Out of turn 12 then, the long right-hander towards turn 13, which cuts out the MotoGP layout of the circuit, and out of turn 14 and 15 through turn 16. He'll be the first across the line then, and let's see what lap time he can set here. So 1 minute 18 at 4. Will anyone be able to improve that? This is Scuba right now, also on a lap. And Kern actually setting the fastest lap then with a 1:18.3. Oh, and that's Scuba going quite slowly. I don't think he's actually on a hot lap. This is Flexi coming across the line with a 1:21.0. So not the fastest lap. That's Archie slightly behind him. We've got Scuba. He's still on his out lap. Let's find someone on their hot lap. That's Paga, but he's only in sector 1. Let's find someone else. Lawman's coming across the line to begin a hot lap there, but this is Skyzy also on an out lap. Brumadinho though on his hot lap, I believe. He's coming through the uphill section now towards turn 9. And heavy braking again into turn 10. You can see the DRS flap closing behind him. And then back out, Brumadinho. What kind of lap time can be set here? So 1:18.3. I believe people have been setting 1:16s on the Super Soft, which is the softest tyre compound available at this circuit. So we'll have to wait and see what happens there. As Paget sets his fast lap with a 1:18.2. Brumadinho coming towards the line there, and that's a 1:19.8. So just within the competitive lap times. He's in 7th, as I think that was Emilio Metz pushing ahead there. Mr. Costa as well. We've got to be watching him. See what he can do now. Actually, no, also on an out lap. This is Lawman's though. Lawman's coming across the line. It's going to be 5th position for now with a 1:18.6. You can see just how close it is in that top few. You can see they're all within, up to 7th, they're all within 1 minute 19. Up to 8th and now on 9th. In fact, as a carriage takes pole position with a 1:17.8 on the mediums. That's a blistering lap time. 0.4 of a second faster than Paget in 2nd. Very interesting. It looks like Dinian still in the pits. CR7 on an out lap. Mr. Costa on the other hand is not. Mr. Costa just coming out on. Oh, he's gone a bit wide. He's touched the gravel, but I think he should be fine. Hopefully that hasn't invalidated his lap. We'll have to wait and see. But anyway, I'm trying to look at these stream comments. I've got absolutely awful Wi-Fi connection in this room. If I connect to my extender, which is in here, the stream disconnects. So we don't want to be doing that. But this is Mr. Costa now coming through the chicane of turns 15 and 14. Out onto the straight then. What can be done here? Got the DRS activated across the line. Actually, invalidated lap there. It may have been just the incident out of turn 9. and that's going to cost him. That's a 118.6, I believe. So that wasn't too bad. The two CDI teammates in the bottom in 18th and 19th. As Carriage increases with a 117.5. Lots of pace coming from Carriage today. Now then, Seb also in second with a 117.6. So not quite up to the position where Carriage is at, but not too far off either. And other drivers beginning to squeeze into that 117 bracket with, of course, Paga as well. Not too far behind. Unfortunately, I cannot get the stream up on my phone. It's just absolutely horrendous Wi-Fi here. But anyway, this is Schumacher. Schumacher heading through this section here, short shifting a bit there as well. I'm just gonna quickly check the comments. Hello Verstappen, that was it. That was the comment I was trying so hard to find, but here comes Schumacher across the line. It's going to be 13th with a 118.8, but only just in the 0.8 of a second. It's Dinian on a super soft, so we're going to get the best lap time, best tyres out. So Dinian going straight for the fastest lap. That's a 117.4 from Seb, so just topping Carriage there. Although all the drivers will be beginning to return to the pits as Dinian sets a 1 minute 10, so not 1 minute 10, he gets into a 10th with a 118.6. So just 5 thousandths of a second faster than his teammate Skyzy. CR7 and Slenderman yet to a lap. CR7 on an out lap. We'll find who's actually on a lap. It looks like Corey is. Corey going into the pits, I believe, on that lap. This is Schumacher. Schumacher might be going for another lap here. Currently on the softs. Mediums even. Heading through towards turn 14. Out of turn 15. What can he do here? I think he's on a hot lap anyway. It looks like it. No, he's going into the pits. So unfortunate there, but we've got Kern here going up towards turn 9. Circuit de Catalunya, quite a good track in my opinion. So Kern's currently in 7th with a 118.3 behind Lawmans and Zach, ahead of his teammate Milo Metz fan, but will he stay there? Kern coming through the final turns. No, he's going into the pits, it looks like. Yes, he is. Though Lawmans might be on a hot lap. I'm not quite sure. It looks like he is. But we'll wait and see. Of course, this is the bit in the qualifying session where everyone's stopping temporarily and just waiting for the next salvo of cars on the softer tyres. Everyone so far on the mediums. Actually, there was someone who got up there. I think that was CPI. No, I think that was Corey with a 1 minute 17.5. So exactly a 10th behind Seb. And finally, I think I'll be able to look at the comments. But these standings right now are Corey is leading, coming first in China, then second in Bahrain. A bit of a lock-up. Lawman's going into the pits as well. Also, big news is that the trailers, there's been gameplay released of F1 2019, and my, does it look good. It will be excellent for the streams, I can tell you that. But yeah, the standings are Corey on top with 53 points, 5 points ahead of Zach, who's in second. They've both taken a win and a podium each, as well as that win. CR7 is in third with 48 points, so tied with Zach actually. And behind him is Seb, that's 15-point gap though, so quite a distance. It's a Slenderman though, and I fortunately can't look at your... Oh my god. The Wi-Fi, it's genuinely awful. But anyway, Yeah, we've got Slenderman. He's gone through turn 9 there. Turn 10 is a heavy braking zone. It's quite easy to lock up as there's yellow flags in sectors 1 and 2, I believe. And anyway, through to sector 3 is Slenderman. There's a bit of movement up in the top there. I think that was Scuba improving, but across the line it's just going to be 17th for Slenderman. Archie, he will be probably going out on another lap. We've got Scuba low on fuel and everything. This is Hushrav in the Toro Rosso, currently in P5, so quite a good show. He's letting, I think, a driver behind him through, or he's just trying to warm up his tyres. Anyway, yeah, I've just got a group chat with Brimdini, and he's not too happy about his performance right now. He's in 18th. He should be able to improve though. I mean, Hushrav, he's coming through the final couple of sectors on the soft, so he's not going 2 steps down. He's just going for this step below the mediums. Unlike, I think, what some of the other drivers are planning on doing. Anyway, through the final sector now. Sector 3 starts, I think, halfway along the straight between sectors, turns 9 and 10. Of course, sector 1 ending just in the braking zone for turn 4. No, that's Hushrav going into the pits. 4 minutes remaining of qualifying. There's only one man out on track, and that is Slenderman. But he's going into the pits now. But Schumacher's on his outlap. We'll watch Schumacher then, because he's the only driver currently on track, pardon me, in the Ferrari. He's on the softs as well, so yeah, he's within the 1 minute 19s. He's currently in 16th. He should be able to improve now he's on the softer tyre, but how much so will be the question. Hushrav's best time was on a soft tyre, and that's still below the top 4, who are all on medium. So just how fast those guys can go is, well, we'll have to wait and see, really. There's not too much elevation change around this track. It's only about 30 meters, and most of that is uphill between turns 7 and 9. Yes, that's up the hill before the straight. The highest point on the track, though, being just after turn 12, and the lowest point into turn 1, pretty much on the apex, really. So that was an interesting little fact to share with you guys. But Schumacher now heading up the hill towards turn 10. He's got the DRS activated right on point there, really going down the ERS to try and build some up for the run onto the straight. And coming through these next few sectors, what kind of time will Schumacher be able to do? He's on the softs, remember, so he should be able to improve upon his current time, but how much so is the question. On towards the straight then, other drivers are now coming out of the pit onto their outlaps. You can see almost everyone on their outlaps, bar Slenderman, Mr. Costa and Lawmans. Through the final sector then, and it's yellow flags in sectors 2 and 3. That might be drivers just slowing down to try and let others through. I'm not quite sure, it's not too clear about what's going on there, but Schumacher heading towards turn 7 now. It's very easy to get oversteer through that sector, especially if you get too greedy with the curbs. So the drivers will have to be watching out for that today. And also up toward turn 11's curbs, I find very easy to spin you round. It's a bit wide from Schumacher. Will that be an invalidated lap? We'll have to wait and see. Oh, he's on the gravel there, and I don't think he's going to be too happy with that. In fact, yeah, he's retired from the session. I don't think he's going to be coming back from that. So we got Paga and CR7 in close proximity. And Zach taking provisional pole with a 1:17.1. Paga heading through turn 7 now. With a lift and a downshift through turn 9. That's Cash with a 1:16.6 on the soft. So that's a real big improvement. And in fact, he's almost half a second ahead of Zach in second. So that's a really fast lap time from Carriage. But anyway, through the final couple of turns now, in fact out of turn 16 goes Paga. Will he be able to improve? Yes, he does. He's up into 4th with that lap. So the two Mercs in the top 4. There goes Scuba through to sector 1. CR7 just coming out of the final turn now across the line. In fact, I think he's going out on a hot lap now, just making it before the checkered flags. Dino, he's currently in sector 1. This is Lawman's in sector 2. In fact, Bruma's retired from the session. Yellow flags, that might be for a retiree. The race will be starting any moment in just a few moments time, so stay tuned for that as Carriage improves to the 1:16.1. I'm pretty sure that was his lap a moment ago. But Lawman's just coming through turn 16 now. Oh, and he's got a lot of oversteer, and that's him in the barrier. That's not gone too well then, that you could say, as Corey takes provisional pole with a 1:16.4. Very fast lap time. This is flexing, he's going into the pits. Deneen there. Riding the curb there, in fact hopping over the curbs. Just Paga really, and the driver in front of him, I think Hushrav as well, yeah. Hushrav, that's Paga going into the pits. Hushrav going potentially for a fast lap, yeah, on the super soft. No, he's not actually, in fact, I think he's on an out lap, just potentially missing out on that opportunity to go for another lap. Unfortunately for him. Yeah, he's going into the pits now. And that's going to bring an end to our qualifying session. Yeah, that's him going into his pit box now. Alright then, so we can get ready for the race in just a moment. Some people don't really like, especially some of the drivers, they don't like this track for league racing. I personally, I enjoy this track, and it does usually provide quite a decent spectacle. And we've got quite a few laps to go. It's not too long of a lap time either. Very downforce heavy. Oh, and look at that. Some drivers getting very close and intimate on the pit straight. Shrab with his well, he's looking forward to the race. I think he's quite nervous, judging by the wording of his statement. But anyway, the qualifying order is going to be Corey, Carriage, Seb, Scuba, Paga, Zach, Mr. Costa, Millimetz, Hershrav, Skyzy, Kern, CR7, Schumacher, Brumidinho, Archie, Lawmans, Flexi, Deneen, Slenderman, rounding off the grid then, about half a second off 18th. So not really got the pace around this track, I must say. Now then, we can get ready for the race at hand tonight. Should be a good one. I'm looking forward to it. I hope you guys are too. Oh, wow. Bit of a voice crack there. I hope you guys are too. unlucky, Slenderman. So yeah, your DRS stuck open. That's really unfortunate, and especially in the track so downforce heavy, that's just going to cost you so much time. And the carriage has got a strong fan base in the form of F1 shape, so he's clearly willing him to win, as the drivers are beginning to finalise their setups and strategies for the race tonight. Looks like it's going to be a dry one, fortunately, although you never know, it could strike rather late, so we'll just have to be wary of that. And we're just waiting on Archie now. And there we go. So we'll get straight into the formation lap, getting all our telemetry ready and all our stuff. We're going to have the position change up at the top left there, just so you guys can have an idea of who's gone where in the first few laps, because that's always quite chaotic. Now then, it's going to be Corey on the pole position in Mercedes, on the front row with him this carriage. Second row will be Seb in the Williams and Scuba in the Haas. Paga is in the other Mercedes, and then Zach in the Ferrari. Mr. Costa on row pardon me, row 4 with Milimet's fan behind. On the next straight it's Hushrab and Skyzy. On row 5 it's Can and CR7. 6 is Schumacher and Bruma, 7th Archie and Lawmans, 8th Flexi and Deneen, and oh, my maths is not too good there, but Flexi and Lawmans have had a bit of an issue. Yeah, my maths has gone wrong at some point during that, and I've completely lost count of which row we're on. But anyway, we're going to get back to Corey, really slowing down the pack, trying to get those tyres and brakes right up to a nice working temperature. That is the name of the game. Fortunately, Spain does usually have quite nice warm weather, so that'll be beneficial for the drivers. Heading through towards turn 14 now. Well, out of turn 13 towards turn 14. Very easy to cut here, so drivers will have to be careful of that and make sure they don't take the MotoGP layout, as much as it is tempting to do so. Then it's pretty much flat out through turn 16. And that leads us on to the straight 33 laps, as Schumacher's been disqualified. Oh, 13 through 17 have been disqualified actually. Then Corey lining up on the pole position now. Just waiting for Slenderman. Here we go. Get our better camera angle, hopefully. Jeez, oh my god. It's gonna be 5 red lights. And away we go here in Spain for the Grand Prix at Circuit de Barcelona, Catalonia. It's a good start from the Red Bull of Carriage, taking up first position now. And the House of Scuba taking a peek down the inside of Corey. Not quite make it, as round the outside it goes Scuba. Someone dropping far down the order. Yeah, that's Kern. He's dropped really far down. Oh, and that's a Williams round of Archie, dropping many positions and losing out there. But we can see Hushrab, he's got the Renault of Milimet's fan right down his inside into turn 4. Mr. Costa also side by side with Paga. Ahead of them is Zach and Corey batting it out. And there's Corey and Seb even. And it's still side by side. We can see 3 cars in a row, 4 groups of drivers in a row side by side. In fact, Milimet's dropping behind slightly, as there's only really one line through that little complex there. It's been a relatively clean start, apart from what happened at 2 Archer. We can see as Zach goes offensively to the inside. It's going to be 3 wide into turn 10. And I think, yeah, Zach sent out the inside. He's got the position. And Mr. Costa, he's tapped Seb. And he's going to drop behind a Paga due to that, as well as down the inside of Milimet's. And it goes CR7 not quite through turn 14. Could we see a move here? Getting very close, nearly contact. Although that's compromised his line slightly through there. Carriage taking the fastest lap so far, as that was Mr. Costa, I think, going slightly wide there. into turn 1. We could see a move here from Millimetzfan, not quite, just slightly too far back. Although in the top 2 you can see just half a second separating the drivers. This has been so far quite a good start to the Grand Prix. Only 1 lap in though, and a bit of a lock up from the Red Bull there. He can feel the pressure. Hopefully Carriage doesn't do what he did in Australia and bin it completely out of the lead, although there isn't that deathly chicane here to cause that. There are other curbs. They could do the same job. Now Millimetzfan is right up the chuff of Mr. Costa. You can see just a 1/10 of a second between them with the slipstream and ERS round the outside into turn 10. Bit of a lock up from the Renault. We can see a switchback. Oh, he's got the oversteer though, and yeah, the oversteer has cost them, and they're gonna have to drop back behind Mr. Costa. CR7 though is closing up as well into turn 13. Could see a move here too, especially into turn 1. It depends who gets the better exit out of turn 15 and 16. As Carriage sets the fastest lap yet again. Millimetzfan gaining on Mr. Costa. The ERS and slipstream helping as DRS has now been enabled. We're on lap 3 of 33 here. Round the outside into turn 1 goes Millimetzfan. It looks like they've got the position. Can they hold on to turn 2? Yes, they can out of turn 3. And it looks like Mr. Costa might be losing a position to CR7. Yes, he has. And CR7 ahead, going down the inside, it looked like there in through turn 3. So that's been quite a good move there, as we got Seb and Zach. They're very close to each other. We'll drop back down the order though, because we can see there's a bit of a train forming behind Millimetzfan to Lormans. It's all quite interesting. We've got Schumacher as well behind Hirschraub. Hirschraub having an absolutely awful start, losing 5 positions as well, whereas Schumacher losing 2. Senderman has made up 3 and CR7 making up 4, so quite an eventful start to the Grand Prix. Skyzy getting overtaken by CR7. In fact, Lormans and Mr. Costa batting out as Mr. Costa does go behind Lormans. We'll watch this from Costa's perspective, as Lormans will be looking to make a move on Skyzy now. On the exit even, he will have the DRS to aid him. And that's Mr. Costa going into the pit, so must have front wing damage then. Ahead though we've got Millimetz and CR7. CR7 down the inside into turn 1. In fact, got that position before the turns really started. As there goes Lormans flying past Skyzy before the braking zone's even begun. There could be a switchback here from Skyzy into turn 3. Not quite. And that's Flexi just behind. Though, yeah, Skyzy running slightly wide out of turn 3, and that's going to compromise him into turn 4. And going to give away that position to Lormans. Really taking a very narrow line there. Not beneficial to him at all. Flexi using this battle to help gain some time and close up the gap. Spain doesn't offer a great many opportunities to overtake, unfortunately, though. So the drivers will have to use the DRS a lot more around this track than on other tracks. For instance, you can see Skies are gaining very close to Lormans. Although dropping back, that's very prominent in this circuit, very downforce heavy, with lots of winding corner complexes. And that's the fastest lap from Seb, in fact, with a 120.3 in the Williams. That's not something you'll see every day. We're going to go up to Scuba, because that is just 0.4 of a second gap. And it is quite close between the Haas and the Red Bull. Carriage could be on for what I believe would be his first win of the season. It would make up for what happened in Australia, especially when his wheel pedals stopped working. Yeah, so Carriage is in 19th with not a single point, finishing 14th, 13th and 16th in that order. Although could be looking to make up some points in this during this Grand Prix. Scuba dropping back, but that's giving Corey an opportunity to gain on Scuba through turn 10. Oh, and Brumadinho has retired from the session. Yellow flags in sector 3. Doesn't look like we're going to be having a safety car or anything like that. TMC Scuba gaining now. Yellow flags in sector 3. I'm not too sure where he's gone off. He might have just span it on the exit of turn 16. Very easy to do that. He's left the session, and that's going to bring a premature end to his Grand Prix, unfortunately, for the Brazilian. So the Haas of Scuba still maintaining a gap of roughly half a second to Carriage, and about half a second behind him is Corey. So these three could be battling a long way into this Grand Prix. Corey losing pole and dropping down to third from the start. Scuba having quite a good start, gaining 2, and Carriage of course gained a 1 position. In fact, yeah, so we're going to keep an eye on this battle for first for now, until another battle which is closer emerges on track. So we'll have to keep an eye out for the likes of that occurring, but I'm not too sure how likely that's going to be. Yeah, because it looks like they are dropping back. In fact, Paga is 0.4 of a second behind Zach. So we'll have a look at this battle instead, because it's likely we'll see a move from one of the two drivers in the near future, as those gaps between the top 3 are beginning to extend. Out of turn 16 then, what can we see here? The Mercedes versus the Ferrari. And Zach is going to feel the heat from Paga through turn 1, and it's just 0.3 of a second now. And you know what they say, if you can't take the heat, get out of the kitchen. So we'll have to see what happens here. Going slightly wide, in fact. Zach can definitely feel the pressure, and I'm sure Paga will be trying to force him to make a mistake. And Deneen, I'm not sure what happened to his car. It's not really showing a gap. I think he might have DNF'd or something. It's kind of inexplicable to me. I'm not sure. Yeah, but anyway, yeah, I'm not sure what's going on in that region there. But we're already lap 7 of 33 as Carriage gets a 3-second time penalty, and that could have severe implications for his position on track. Those time penalties will be more prominent, I think, at the end. They will be very important, and they could decide the end of the race, actually, at this rate. The pole time here, I think, was similar or same as the ILR pole time. Unless I'm mistaken, I saw that in the ILR3 group chat. But Paga is gaining, and behind him you can see CR7, the Predator. He's gained up 5. He's gained 5 possessions since the start of the Grand Prix. Will he gain any more? We should be approaching the pit phase soon, I believe. Though I may be wrong saying that. Relatively high tyre wear around this circuit. And yeah, you can see the gap, just 0.2 of a second. Not close enough for a move to be made by Paga, unfortunately. We will be looking to find it down the room, down the inside of Zach in the near future. We'll have to look to defend from CR7 as well now, because CR7 is posing quite a large threat to Paga. You can see he's now just half a second. He's got the DRS, ERS and slipstream. Will he get the position as we move towards turn 1? Zach's going to have to look out for Paga. Paga just not getting at the speed he needs down the straight to finally make a move, unfortunately for him. And that's Archie down many positions as he had a spin or some kind of incident. I would look, but this battle is just a bit too tantalising to get away from. Zach still in the lead, but CR7 really has made up that ground. and it could be posing quite a threat. Oh, actually getting a 5-second stop go. Yeah, he's retired from the session. Yeah, it was a 5-second stop go for spinning in the pit lane, although that won't matter now, seeing as he's out of the race. So we've got Zach behind Seb, but that's quite a large gap. So in a bit of a sandwich is Paga. Although, no, it's CR7 now in the sandwich as he launches it down the inside into turn 13. He's got that position. That was a good move, I must say. And yeah, Paga taking the opportunity to go into the pits. And yeah, as I thought, the pit phase is beginning to open up by the move from the Mercedes. I think that's going to prompt the other drivers to start pitting as well. Not too sure though, but we've got Lawman down the inside of Emilio Metzvan. Can he get the position into turn 1? Bit of a front right lockup. Emilio Metzvan, on the other hand, will have the inside line for the second part of the turn. Although for turn 3, it will be the inside line for CR7, although he's not CR7 for Lawman's. The Lawman's decided to drop back into turn 4, sending it down the inside again. What a wonderful ding-dong battle on the exit. It looks like Lawman's not quite finding the room. The switchback maneuver could be on here, although Emilio Metz really parking on the chicane and not giving Lawman's the opportunity he needed to get through. Good defence there. Luckily there was no contact between the drivers, but Lawman staying close behind the Renault. And some good driving going on here. Into turn 10, just not the room, although Emilio Metzvan has gone so, parking it yet again on the apex, really not helping Lawman's position right now. And I'm sure Lawman will be beginning to get frustrated. Let's hope neither of them make a mistake though. We want to keep this battle going till the end. Or for a long while yet at least. And CR7 has overtaken Zach. Sorry, I just missed that. As Lawman's goes down the inside of Emilio Metzvan. Behind us, Flexi. Flexi could be looking to capitalise on this battle. The switchback from Lawman's quite possibly, although just not the speed he needs to carry it through into turn 4. Taking a sniff down the inside. Attack back, taking a bite down the inside. Has he got the line? Has he got the position? It looks like he has on the exit. He's ahead of Emilio Metzvan, but now Flexi has joined the party and will be looking to try and regain that, well, not regain, but take that position off Emilio Metzvan, and then after that taking it off Lawman's, although that might change depending on the positions the drives it in. I'm just going to take this opportunity to have a quick check at the comments. Flashback to mile 5. That's a big lock-up from Lawman's though. Not going to be good for his tyres. And he's feeling the heat from the two drivers behind him. You can definitely see that. Carriage beginning to pull away. He does need to increase that gap to second to 3 seconds if he's going to keep the win here. Or hold on to the lead. And Flexi nearly going to the back of Emilio Metzvan through there. We're going to go up to Corey though. Corey gaining on Scuba will go back down to this battle with Emilio Metzvan as Emilio Metzvan goes around the outside. Could be a switchback move here, although just losing time. And oh, Flexi trying to get it down the inside. I think there might have been slight contact there, although nothing too bad into turn 4. Flexi taking a sniff down the inside, just not quite getting the nose turned in though. That's the fastest lap from Hushab. Corey also gets 3 seconds worth of time penalties, and Emilio Metz has gone way into the gravel. I think that may have been due to contact. Did Flexi's nose tap at the back of the Renault? Quite possibly, and that's going to cost Emilio Metz a position and a good 10 seconds. That's really not gone well for the Renault, and we'll go up to Flexi because Flexi will be potentially gaining on Lawman's now due to the gap shrinking. Hushav's down in 13th though. I'm not sure if he's pitted yet. That's not. Flexi and Lawman's have gained 9 positions, as well as CR7 gaining 7, so some excellent drives emerging from this Grand Prix. You have to admit that. We've got Slenderman on Schumacher. We can't forget further down the grid. Oh, and the top 4, 5 even hit apart from CR7, so CR7 remaining at the top for now. But yeah, the pit stop phase has definitely opened up. They're all pitting in sync. Quite interesting to see that, actually. That Slenderman is gaining on Schumacher somewhat. Actually, in fact, no, they're losing on Schumacher, and that's not going to help too much. But as I said earlier, we've seen gameplay for F1 2019 and the graphics do look excellent. So hopefully for broadcasts like these in the future, it will be even more enjoyable and lifelike to watch, because it's good now, but just how good it will be is amazing, and I'm just looking forward to it a lot. You can tell I'm pretty much speechless by how well they've done it. And I'm tempted to buy a capture card, although I need a decent PC to run it. And unfortunately, I do not have that. Skyzy retiring from the session in Sector 3. Scuba, meanwhile, trying to get past Carriage. Where has Skyzy gone off then? Not quite sure. It hasn't brought out a safety car or anything, so it can't be too bad, although this game does like to pick and choose when it brings out the VSC and the full safety car. Is that... I don't know where that's happened, but interesting. As the slipstream, ERS and DRS for Scuba. Has he got the position down the inside into turn 1? He goes on the Red Bull, and it looks like ES potentially getting that position. In fact, yeah, keeping that position with Carriage slightly behind. Flexi now sub 60 positions due to the pit stops, although he will be pitting soon as well. We'll have a look at those who haven't stopped yet, and it's just Flexi. As you can tell, Skyzy are leaving the session. Going to be frustrated at that, but Paga on CR7. Down the inside into turn 5, and not quite out of turn 6. Whoever gets a better exit, and it looks like the Haas car has got the better exit. And along the straight though, between turns 9 and 10, there could be a move from the Mercedes using the DRS, not utilising the ERS. They've got quite a lot on the battery store though, so that's an interesting move. The switchback manoeuvre could be on into the hairpin-esque turn of number 10, although just having to back off slightly and not keep that position, unfortunately. And that's Scuba getting the fastest lap as well. Scuba currently in second, which will be a net first. Carriage losing out during the pit stop phase, although that gap is half a second, so I think, yeah, it's probably a good move to look up at this top battle then. It's always good to see what's going on down the grid, but when it's the top, it's important. Carriage looking to score his first points of the season. It'd be great if that's a win for him. I'm sure he'd be very pleased with that. All of these drivers on the medium, so they're all on the same one-stop strategy as we're approaching the halfway point of the Grand Prix. And yeah, Carriage in third, behind Scuba in second, although that will be a net second and first once Flexi doesn't make his pit stop. Anyway, Carriage and the Red Bull are beginning to drop back, it looks like, so that's not going too well for him. Slenderman gets a 3-second time penalty, although he's in 13th and just about 3 seconds clear of the person behind him. We're going to hop down to the bottom actually. As you can see just how close Slenderman is to Hushrav and Schumacher. In fact, Schumacher going into the back of Hushrav there as Corey sets the fastest lap. We'll just be ready to switch back up to Carriage. Oh, and that was close. Nearly making a move there, but not quite getting the room. So we'll go back down to this battle here. And keep an eye on those time. In fact, I think we should just go back to this battle here. Carriage is in third. And actually losing time yet again. So we'll go up to Schumacher and Hushrav. Round the outside into turn 1. It goes Schumacher, which will be the inside line for turn 2. Hushrav squeezing him slightly. He's off the track. Oh, and there's contact. Hushrav sweeping across the track, and that could give Slenderman the opportunity he needs to get it down the inside on the exit of turn 3. Still in the same order into turn 4. There's a move there, well, near move there from Slenderman, but not quite getting it. On the exit though, having much more speed. Round the outside into turn 5. It looks like the McLaren just backing off slightly at the end in the final braking zone. nearly going on the gravel trap through to turn 7 and 8. Still side by side, contact again, and that's going to be the McLaren backing off. Although if we're right on board, we can gauge the distance going nearly wide there on the exit of turn 9 into turn 10. Could we see a move here from the McLaren going for the switchback, it looks like, and Flexi just getting overtaken there by the top guys. There's not too much point looking at that because they're not racing each other. Oh, and that's Schumacher going into the pits for another pit stop. Looks like front wing damage could have occurred on his car. So we can go up to these top guys now. Yeah, so everyone currently on the mediums. Even Flexi is yet to pit. I think Flexi going from mediums to soft. So pushing harder in the last stint as we're halfway through the Grand Prix now. Lap 17 of 33. Still quite some laps to go, but it has been very entertaining Grand Prix nonetheless. And also, I'm going to take this opportunity in the stream to say happy birthday, ILR. Reaching 2 just the other day, just a couple of days ago. Yeah, so I thought today, right now, would just be a good time to mention that. If you didn't know already, which I'm sure most of you do, because it's been quite a big thing for ILR, and the league is growing still, and it's quite nice just to see it grow, and also the racing emerging from these drivers, as you can see from this stream, is absolutely amazing, with the gaps between most of the cars below 2 seconds, which is quite a sight, and not something you get every day. That's Seb, but currently in 5th. Further up is Corey and Carriage. That's Corey getting a 3-second time penalty. So Corey is in severe danger of Seb and possibly even CR7, although not quite as much danger from CR7 due to that gap of around 4 seconds. It looks like Carriage is gaining a bit on Scuba now though. Further down the grid we've got a bit of a gap decreasing between Millimetzman and Slenderman. On the exit here of turn 4 into turn 5, not quite. They're up through towards, and on the exit of turn 9 is where we might see a move here from the Renault, although dropping back further and further, half a second now. They will be in DRS range of Slenderman with DRS activated, although this straight, in my opinion, is just too short to make a move that will stick. Sorry about that. Yeah, that straight is just too short to make a move that will stick, and although the DRS is nice, faces them very defensively to the inside, it's just not beneficial, and it doesn't help the drivers to make a move, unfortunately. And that's the problem with this track of Spain. It's just really hard to find places to make moves, just due to the nature of its short straights and the long turn complexes. But that's not to say it's a bad track, because I find it's a very nice track. It's a good track, it's a fun track to drive, and you can understand why they use it for testing. It's just when it comes to racing, finding that room to go up the inside or around the outside of someone is always a difficulty, which is why the main straight being quite so long can be beneficial towards the teams and drivers, helping with the chance of overtaking. And because it's so high downforce, most of the lap is just trying to keep within 1 second of the driver in front until you get to the main straight, and you can unleash the full power of your car. Just 15 drivers remaining then. We've lost Skyzy, Archie and Bruno. Yeah, I'm not sure what's happened to Deneen, but we definitely can't spectate them. But Corey is gaining on Carriage. Both of them have time penalties, though Corey does have double. I believe Carriage only has 3 seconds worth, but Corey has 6 seconds worth. As Schumacher getting another, or Schumacher getting 3 seconds worth of time penalties as we're talking about them. Flexi has finally made his pit stop, lap 20 of 33. And getting overtaken by quite a few drivers. That was two drivers in the pits as Milumets fan making a move on the teammate of Flexi's McLaren. Corey and Carriage and Scuba. I'm going to quickly check the comments. Thoughts on spaghetti and chips? In my honest opinion, I don't think it's a great meal choice, but the person in question is a good friend of mine. In fact, I know him in real life, and yeah, he's a good driver. I'm not quite sure where he is currently in ILR2 racing as well. Slenderman overtaking Milumets as well. So I think we're actually going to have a look at this ding-dong battle going on as Costa gets through some time penalty. Although I was saying that it's hard to overtake into turn 10, Slenderman has just managed it. Of course, one time someone misspelled Spaghetti Chips' name in a Discord server and ended up calling him Spanking Chips. That's that's a good inside joke going on with the top guys as Slenderman goes into the pits for a second stop. I don't think there's a two-stop strategy going on, although I might be mistaken. This yellow flag is set for 3. Don't quite know why that is. I think that might be Hushrav. Yeah, Hushrav going slowly on the slip road out of turn 12. Oh, he's going very slow. And I think, yeah, Hushrav is retiring. Going, yeah, really slow here. Yeah, going into the pits before retiring. That's fair enough. Good, actually, from them as Kern, the other McLaren, the other Renault coming out in front of the McLaren. So the two Renaults have fought the same McLaren or have been next to McLaren. And in fact, the two Renaults are in a McLaren sandwich with a bit of ham and tomato thrown in. The ham, of course, being the Force India, and the tomato, the Ferrari. That was a weird analogy, but yeah. Hushrav, I think Hushrav must have had some kind of damage. Not retiring, luckily, and staying out, reserving, I believe, tonight. As Flexi gets a fastest lap with 1:19.4, of course, on the softer tyre compounder than all the other drivers, apart from Mr. Costa, Kern, and Slenderman. So this soft could be useful for some of the drivers here. Scuba having quite a good race. Corey also not having such a good race. And the Carriage into turn 10. Could we see a move here from the Red Bull? Not quite, just banging off slightly as the yellow flag's in sector 2. I'm not too sure what is the cause of that, but we'll continue on with the race at hand now. I just missed what was at the bottom there. It was a time penalty for someone. And now there could be a move here from Cash. He's got DRS, ERS, and, well, not ERS, but he has got the slipstream. But he's not got the position, just not finding enough room to make up into turn 1. Lap 12, 10 laps to go. It is blue, and I think it's going to stay that way, although the game does seem to be darkening slightly. I don't think we're in any risk of rain currently. Now, the gap between Carriage and Scuba is half a second. The gap between Corey and Carriage is also half a second, as Mr. Costa said in the fast lap with a 1:19.4. Mr. Costa, I believe, on the soft as a Slenderman, so that's a 1:19.3 on the softs as well. Yeah, so Scuba holding on to the first position, the top step for now. So this is all a battle for first as well. They're all on the podiums, and if Seb can just keep within that gap there, I think he might be on for a podium due to the time penalties. And he's P9. Tell Lenny that I'm absolutely disgusted and he should be doing it so much better. As into turn 1 goes Carriage and Scuba. These two very close now. The gap is closing Corey is losing time actually to Carriage. And that's Hushrav with the fast lap, 1:18.7. We're 42 seconds behind Slenderman. It's unlikely he's going to be making up any positions, and he will probably have to settle down for P15 at this point. Hushrav's actually a lap down. And there's yellow flags in sector 1. Not too sure why that is. But Carriage getting the DRS on Scuba into turn 10, getting, oh, double front lockup, and that's going to cost him the position to Corey. Corey squeezing ahead of him there then, and that's not gone well for the Red Bull. And yeah, so that double front lockup, I did think he was leaving it a bit too late in the braking zone, and it's come back to bite him. As you can see, Carriage is now down to 3rd, and I think right now Seb is in with a chance of getting P2. Let's have a quick look at the penalties. So let's move down a bit. There's 3 seconds for Carriage. Mr. Costa's got 3 seconds. 3 for Corey. Another 3 for Corey. So 6 seconds for Corey. Schumacher's got 3. Mr. Costa's got another 3. And yeah, so it's 6 seconds for Carriage, for Corey, and 3 seconds for Carriage. So, oh, that's Hushrav. He's retired from this section. He's gone into the pits and just decided to retire, which was fair enough. At least he's done it in the pits, and that's not going to bring out any safety car or anything. But we've got Slenderman. He's close behind Kern. Right now, though, in his current position, Seb is likely to get P2 here, so just by staying nice and consistent and out of trouble, very likely to get a decent finish here in Spain. Just needs to keep it clean. Blake's getting a 3-second time penalty, which I don't think is going to affect him too badly, because he's 9 seconds ahead of Minametan, who also gets a 3-second time penalty. Talking about that, so that evens things out between those two. Slenderman and Kern are very close down, in through, around and under. Just under 0.2 of a second up turn 8 and around turn 9. We're moving a yellow flags in sector 1 and sector 2, and that's Haggart losing a position. I thought there might be some kind of issue with him. Zach does get that position, and Kern losing 10, losing it to Slenderman, who went down the inside. And yeah, I mean, that DRS zone does produce some overtakes, and I mean, some overtakes is better than none, one could say. So yeah, I feel like that DRS zone might be worth it, although just another 100 or 200 meters on that straight would really benefit overtaking opportunities. Although that would end up changing the whole layout of the track, as Kern goes round the outside into turn 1, down the inside for turn 2, then the outside again for turn 3. Oh, and that's contact! He's been hit very hard by Slenderman, and that's going to cost him a lot of time. Slenderman getting a bit of the shoulders stuck out. I shall leave the session. Yeah, just having the elbows stuck out, and that's going to hinder Kern. Luckily, no danger from behind us. He's still 20 seconds ahead of Schumacher, but now he's lost 6 seconds to Slenderman. Bit of argy-bargy. That was always going to happen, going too wide through there when the cars are so downforce reliant. But Corey on Scuba. Scuba is still probably going to win this race no matter what happens. 6.5 laps to go out of turn 4. Corey trying to find somewhere through. Just at half a second still, so these top 3 have been battling out. They're all quite evenly matched. Scuba doing well to defend from them. He can't let them through. He doesn't want them to pull away too fast. And along the straight towards turn 10, can we see a move here from Corey? There's yellow flags in sector 3. Don't quite know why that is. There's a bit of sliding from Scuba. That's due to desync. And yeah, desync quite a prominent factor in F1 2018. Kern's gained up a lot of time on Slenderman recently, so doing well to come back from that incident, as Carriage has had a bad exit. But Corey, on the other hand, still close behind Scuba. He's got the DRS, ERS and Slipstream into turn 1. Will we get the position? He moves to the inside. Under braking, it's going to be side by side. And it looks like nearly contact there. Although he has got the position by 0.2 of a second. Scuba will be looking towards Carriage behind him in the wing mirrors. Carriage round the outside into turn 4. The switchback move could be on, not quite. Carriage too far side by side to make it work. Into turn 5, not quite finding the room to make a move, but you can see just how close it's getting in the top few drivers. Scuba losing that position to Corey at long last, and that's going to put him in real danger of Carriage. And Seb is really making a move here to try and gain some time, and that could be Scuba down to 2nd or 3rd, or even 4th, depending on the time penalties. Not too sure. Corey currently still finishing in 4th at this rate. Yes, and Carriage will be finishing in 4th, but only just. I have to see how this plays out. I'll have a quick look at these comments. Corey has 6 seconds worth of time penalty. Carriage has 3 seconds worth of time penalties, whereas Scuba 0 seconds, as well as Seb, who also has 0 seconds. As Carriage down the inside into turn 1, took a sniff, just didn't have the room to make it through. He's just 3/10 behind Scuba. The dirt again not aiding him there. As you can see, he's run slightly wide into turn 4, down the inside, not quite, in fact braking slightly early. I think due to that incident earlier, he's got a bit timid on the brake pedal and just going slightly earlier than necessary, just so as not to make the same mistake twice. Have a quick look at the pens. So there's already 3 for Slenderman and Paga and Milimetz. But yeah, there's 6 for Corey and 3 for Carriages. Carriages gaining on Scuba into turn 10, down the inside, not quite. I'll have a quick look at the comments because I can't do it on my phone. Yeah, Corey needs to gain 6 seconds if he's going to take the win here. And I don't think that's going to be very possible in 4 laps. You never know, he might just find something in the last legs of his tyres, so that's a 3-second time penalty for Slenderman. Yeah, so Corey does need to put on a shift if he's going to take the win. In fact, he's losing time to Scuba, so that's never a good sign if you're winning. Carriage is currently in a net 4th. Net 3rd, actually, with Corey's penalty taken into consideration. Yeah, so Corey could just miss out on the podiums if he doesn't really put in a shift and increase that gap, which is very unlikely with 4 laps to go. That's a 5-second stop go for Schumacher speeding in the pit lane. No, that shouldn't affect things too much, as he's 40 seconds off Kern, who's in 13th. So far we've had 6 DNS, that's quite a lot, especially around this track. Although there's a lot of gravel and grass, that can easily spin the car around, come over rotation and everything like that. If you touch them, especially with the rear wheels when you're trying to put down the power. Slenderman goes into the pits, that's going to cost him the position to Kern, probably front wing damage. Carriage just half a second behind Scuba. Will he be able to increase that gap or decrease that gap? He's down to 0.3 seconds. A bit of a front left lock up on the exit of turn 14. What can turn 15 even? What can he do here? Scuba really gaining some time on Corey then. Will it be enough, as ahead of them is Slenderman coming out of the pits? He could throw a spanner into the works into turn 1. Oh, he's gone very wide, as Slenderman. No, in fact, I think he's just letting the drivers pass. That's a good etiquette from him, just to let them through, let the drivers who are racing, especially for first, through. Carriage with another 3-second time penalty, so that puts him on 6 seconds worth. He has taken that lot in, that wide one too many times then out of turn 3. And he will be looking to try and get ahead of Corey, because that's who he's battling now. It's a battle for podium between those two, and CBR Seb, he's in a safe 2nd position, and Scuba a safe win. Carriage does need to try and get ahead of Scuba and Corey in the next 2 laps to try and take the third and final position on the podium. Just 2 laps to go, and you can see these top 4 separated by mere tenths of seconds. It's all very close, and of course, luckily this weekend it is a bank holiday weekend, giving us 3 days. And yesterday was Star Wars Day, believe it or not, May the 4th. Seb on carriage. This is not going to be good for the Red Bull. Getting the slipstream ERS and DRS, taking a look down the inside into turn 1. Under braking, it looks like the Williams has got it as yellow flags in sector 3. As Carriage does fight back, but he's going to have to concede that position. Scuba on Corey. In fact, Scuba going a bit narrow out of turn 3 there. Carriage trying to get past Seb on turn 4, not quite getting it. And it looks like this could be the order for the next lap or so, or for the rest of the lap, I think, until we get back to that straight, and that will likely decide who will finish where. Lap 32 of 33 here in Spain. It's been an excellent Grand Prix, and it's been a battle right till the very end. The thing is with this ILR3, these drivers, they seem to close up right at the end. The top battle always comes in the final dying stages of the race, likely due to the guy at the top pushing his tyres too hard, and the guys behind it conserving their tyres, and that's gives them the opportunity to try and put a shift in towards the end. Bit of oversteer from the Williams of CBI Seb. In it to turn 1, it's going to be Scuba trying to get past Corey. He doesn't necessarily need to. Corey going down the middle, taking a very defensive line, and he's going to hold on to the first position for now. And it looks like he's going to hold on to it for some time to come. Into turn 4, the order is going to stay as it is. Corey's still leading. Scuba going rather narrow out of turn 4, trying to maximise that run to turn 5 and potentially find somewhere through, though not quite managing it. Scuba followed by Seb, followed by Carriage. The battle for the podiums and the battle for first as Carriage overtakes Seb. Seb's gone wide. Oh, and he's had a really big moment. Oh, he's out of fuel. Seb's out of fuel. Oh no, that's not gone well, and I think his tyres are gone as well. The final lap of the Grand Prix. Absolute scenes here, losing loads of time. Unfortunately for him, it looks like Seb's going to miss out on the podiums. In fact, he's going to drop down to potentially even 5th as towards the line. Low on fuel is at Scuba as well, but that's going to be first for Scuba. Corey second, then Carriage in third. CPI Seb coming out of the turn 16 for the final time, and he's going to miss out on the podiums, unfortunately for him, followed by CR7 and Zach and Paga coming through the turn 16 for the final time. Schumacher's got a lot of time penalties, but he's going to finish in 13th. Lawmans, then Flexi in the McLaren coming through turns 14 and 15 for the final time this evening. Fat oversteer, and that could concede the position to Milu Metz. Jesus, time penalties. Oh, Flexi's had a moment. Oh, and he's taken out Milu Metz across the line. Oh my gosh, would you look at that? 500ths of a second between them. And finally the remaining Renault. Bit of alliteration there for you. He's got low fuel, it looks like. And across the line. What a race that was. That's Kern finishing in 12th, missing out on the podiums by just a couple positions. And I think Flexi, it's strange what he did at the end there, but it's going to be the Haas on the top step today of Seb, followed by the Mercedes. And then the McLaren, the Brit in second, and Seb, he's done well that race, the Irishman himself, and then the Bahrainian of Carriage. So the finishing order is going to be Scuba, Corey, Carriage, Seb, CR7, Zach, Paga, Lawmans, Flexi, Millimetz fan, Mr. Costa, Kern, Schumacher, and the DNFs are going to be Slenderman, Herstrav, Skyzy, Archie, and Brumadini, as well as Deneen. What a race that was. If you have any questions for interviews, unlucky Slenderman. If you have any questions, I'm going to invite the top 3, which are Scuba, Corey, and Carriage. Just give me a moment. It was Scuba, wasn't it? Just want to make that. Oh, never mind. We'll do the podium interviews next time. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the race. And don't forget to leave a like, subscribe. You can find me on YouTube at I'm Barless. I hope you enjoyed the race. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.